君はね確かにあの時私のそばにいたいつだっていつだっていつだってすぐ横で笑っていたなくしても取り戻す君を I will never leave you
Battle, then I'll take it to the street where there's no rules. Take off the gloves, rip, please to down. Gotta prove my skills, so get down. My lyrical depths are roll, battle smack down now. Gotta shoot to kill and shoot to skill. Don't you be afraid, man's gotta do how it feels. 60, 70, 80, 9, 10. I flip the script to make it to the top 10. Go. Shit thoughts provoke the new era. Become a bit terror, but my only rival is my shadow. Rewind the play back if it's my own era. Get low to the ground, it's getting better like I told you before. Double up a dead road cheddar. L to the J, say stay laced. Cause my car me royal flush, and I'm the ace.
And welcome back to Let's Play Persona 3, episode Aegis, aka The Answer. We'll see if I can remember to introduce the game that way every single time going forward. But last time we had our exposition dump. We're trapped in a time loop. We've got a robot sister in Metis for our robot protagonist Aegis. Yes, we're playing as Aegis for our main character this time. Aegis has unlocked the power of the wild card, and now it is time to take our available team to go into the Abyss of Time. After a lot of just a absolute barrage of cutscenes, it's honestly kind of novel and refreshing to be able to play the game. Crazy and wild stuff. Now, like the main storyline, The Journey, there is a lot of good flavor text you can get from talking to your companions, and it is arguably much more important in The Answer, because, we're trapped in the dorm for the time being. Go check the front entrance, and it will not budge. You are not allowed to leave. You can watch the cars roll on by, but there is no way to get help from anyone out there, so our companions are going to be our main source of incidental dialogue for this storyline, so we better enjoy it even more this time around.
Oh, good.
Slacking off on actual training can impact both boxing and actual battles. It's too bad I've fallen out of practice. I'll have to work harder to get back to where I was before. Indeed, indeed. Mitsuru, what are your thoughts? It doesn't seem as though the problem will simply resolve itself. We may have to fight. Don't worry, whatever the cause may be, we'll overcome it. We've already saved the world once, after all. Definitely the great attitude to have about it. That said, I'll be investigating on my own for some time. I'll leave the rest to you, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what she's investigating. It just seems like she's lounging on the couch for the time being, but hey. I feel like it's not just my persona abilities that were affected. I can't handle my weapon as well as I used to either. I guess battling is kind of like studying. You have to keep at it if you want to maintain a certain level of aptitude. Indeed, indeed. And if we take a chance to look at our statistics, we will find that we have weakened considerably. We are all back down to level 25. Metis, I guess, isn't back to anything, since she just joined. We'll go over in detail what everybody is capable of in the storyline as it becomes more relevant, but many of the characters do have rebalanced or even outright different abilities compared to the main game, so don't assume everyone is going to serve exactly the same role in this storyline. So, that abyss of time down there is what's caused all this, huh? I guess we'll have to go in and try and figure this all out. Sounds like no one has a clue what's really in there, but that's all the more reason to check it out. Okay, Fuka, I guess there's something I wanted to ask you. Is it possible that you can no longer activate Orgia mode? Would you happen to know why? But yes, Aegis no longer has Orgia mode at her disposal. You know, gain some powers, lose some powers. I thought something was off when I was backing up in combat. As for what's causing it, well, it doesn't look like you're malfunctioning, but how should I put it? It's almost as if you forgot how to activate it. Sorry, that sounds a bit silly. But, in lieu of a better explanation, I mean, what else can we, take from that?
Excuse me.
Did you need me to explain anything? Oh, tell me more about the Abyss of Time. I believe the Abyss is spread beneath us like the roots of a tree. Basically, it branches out in various directions, going deeper and deeper down. And the area right below us is the Desert of Doors. Each door there seems to lead to a different place. We should be able to use them to traverse to other areas. Okay. And finally, let's hit up Junpei and Koromaru here. Kinda worried about what could happen in there, but Koromaru and I will go check things out. Leave finding supplies to us. You just concentrate on exploring, Ai-chan? And Koromaru over here, it'll be interesting to play as Aigis, who's capable of understanding him. Huh. I can't understand what Koromaru-san is trying to say as well as I did before. It seems as though he wishes to head inside the abyss and explore. I think. Huh. This is kind of the opposite of depersonalization. Like, Aigis is being humanized to a point where she no longer has the robotic abilities she did previously. What good is this tactical gear that we got if it's just causing us to lose mechanical abilities? Whatever. Well, we've put it off long enough. Let's get into the abyss of time.
Hi.
Are you ready to start exploring? Yeah. Okay, I'll let the others know. Before we fully get into the swing of things, I think it's time to just make a little note on some already existent differences between episode Aigis and the original release of The Answer. First off, your party management is done within the dorm, and it is still the same as it is in the journey. You directly talk to your party members, and you, modify their things, like their equipment, check all their skills, their stats, their remaining EXP before you move on into the actual bit of exploration. You cannot do any of this from just the main start menu, so gotta remember to make sure you are good to go before entering the Abyss of Time. Something to note about Metis here is that she starts with Garula. This is different from her starting skill loadout in Persona 3 episode Aigis, so be mindful of that if you are carrying her with Yukari, they currently have redundant coverage. This is not always the case, and honestly, it's not that big of a deal at this point, because no matter what party composition you make, you're gonna have some level of redundant coverage, but my team going forward for a little bit in The Answer is going to be Metis, Ken, and Akihiko, because that, I feel, is the stronger bit of redundancy in the team, and I do want to have Metis in the second party slot. You do still have the option to talk to your party members in order to get their thoughts on the current situation, and Metis still has her double dialogue choices. The rest of the characters at this point do not really have any major differences from how they would be at this point in the journey in terms of levels and what skills they have access to, but there are some differences that do crop up later, so be mindful of that. Let's get Ken into our party here, and then let's get Akihiko. One other big thing to note on is that the Velvet Room is actually located within the dorm in this version of the game. It is actually located within the Abyss of Time itself in episode Aigis, but if you want to do anything involving the Velvet Room, you instead have to back out into the dormitory, which isn't really any kind of deal in The Answer, so don't really worry too much about that. I do kind of feel like, it kind of adds to it. Much better door than the one that is behind it. One final thing I'd like to comment on, because this is just kind of funny and it's not really going to be relevant any time later in the playthrough. As you can see, Aigis does have social stats in this game, or this storyline, but they are completely irrelevant. As you can see, her academics need work, she is kind-hearted with her charm, and she is fearless in her courage. This does not really matter at all. These stats are never checked against, and you cannot raise them. They are just there as an artifact from the journey, and perhaps as a little bit of information on Aigis' character at this point in time.
What was that just now? That thing went through this door, didn't it? What's going on?
I'm not sure either. It all happened so quickly.
Why not start our exploration here then? Not like we have much else to go on. Couldn't hurt to pursue anything suspicious.
All right, then I'll leave this to you. Be careful in there.
Thankfully, the game elects to not waste too much time there. As you can see, we have access to the Velvet Room within the Desert of Doors in this version of The Answer. Whatever, value that really has, separating it from the main dorm. Okay, I kind of know why it's like that, but we won't really have to worry about that right now. Over here with our clock, the clock's not ticking. Maybe the hands will start moving if I use something. Not that we have anything that we can use on it. Does anybody else have a unique dialogue in this area? I'm with you, Aiga-san. Let's think about it real quick. We should actually get a grasp on what Metis is capable of here, so let's take a look at her abilities real quick. Metis comes with the persona Psyche. Her primary attacking type is Strike. She fights with hammers and axes, similar to a certain other character who is no longer with us. Her theurgy is Orgia mode, which is functionally identical to Aegis's Orgia mode in this version of the game. The primary difference being that it does a strike-based attack instead of a pierce type attack. Gotta get my grammar proper there. Now, let's look at her persona itself. There are some key differences between Metis' persona in episode Aegis and the Answer. Namely, she starts with Bufala instead of Garula. Bufala comes later on in her skill list, in the Answer. This gives her a bit more of a versatile distinction from Yukari in this version of the game, as well as give us more reason to run the two on the same team. Got some good utility there in Tarukaja and Deikaja. She'll pick up some ailment skills as well. The main core of Metis' game plan is definitely her physical power, she will definitely gravitate more towards strength as the game goes on, but that flexibility can be much appreciated for a good chunk of the game, and as you can see, she has no weaknesses either. No resistances, but I would definitely say having no weaknesses is a more valuable thing to have in a Persona game. We will be using Metis for the entirety of the Answer and episode Aegis. She is tailor-made for the storyline. You're never at a disadvantage bringing her. In fact, frankly, we've used the rest of the members of SEAS pretty heavily throughout the journey, so I think it's time for a Answer-specific character to get a little bit more time in the spotlight. Or, it would just be good to let her have that. For our first expedition, let's bring along, let me see, can I add them to the party from here? Sorry, one of my controllers broke, so I'm trying to figure out, man, I'm getting my controls all backwards here. Trying to remember where the buttons, what buttons I want to hit here. There we go. Get Yukari and Kennen. Let's take just a quick look at them as well to see if there's any key differences or anything important to know about them. As you can see, Yukari has a pretty lackluster skill list to work with right now. Just Garu, Medea, Patra, Sukunda, Pulimpa, all tier 1 skills. Not exactly the most inspired stuff we have at our disposal. Ken's looking a bit nicer here with a lot more flexibility. He's got Koga and Zionga for pretty good coverage there. He also has Arrow Rain. This is our first instance of a new skill being slotted into a pre-existing party member's skill list. There is some added flexibility added to other party members to help make up for the fact that we've lost so much in the transition to the Answer, because all we have in Aegis's persona list is Orpheus. Not as impressive as what we ended the journey with, so definitely we much appreciate having expanded movesets for our other party members. Got Agi, Assault Dive, Dia, and we'll be picking up Agilao within a level. Alright, enough beating around the bush. Let's actually get to exploring here. No reason to visit the Velvet Room since we don't actually have anything to fuse. That dark figure from before went in here, right? You don't think that was...
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get carried away. This appears to be the first door. I wonder what we'll find inside. Well, if we don't go through it, then we can't do anything about the current situation. I suppose we have no choice but to enter. Are you ready? I'll do my best to support you. Alright, let's go in. Where exactly does this first door take us, though? Feels like an ordinary building inside. I'm going to take a quick look.
Could it be?
Huh. These readings? Oh no. Shadows. Be careful, everyone. I'm sensing multiple shadows inside. Everyone assume your battle positions. Alright. Suppose it's not too surprising that we're running into shadows here.
Huh?
There's a shadow directly ahead of you, though it doesn't seem to have noticed you yet. Aegis, since you're equipped with firearms, I bet you could shoot them from afar. If there's enough distance between you and the shadow, then I don't think they'll notice you. How about giving it a try? You can fire by pressing the X button while exploring to hit an enemy. Doing so will start combat. Striking an enemy from behind will trigger a chance encounter where you have the advantage at the start of combat. If the enemy attacks you first, a pinch encounter will occur, placing you at a disadvantage. Although you can fire at enemies from afar, the sound may attract other foes. Try to quickly initiate chance encounters to gain the upper hand for easy victories. Auto-targeting. When Aegis fires one of her weapons, an enemy a certain distance in front of her will be automatically targeted. An auto-targeted unit will be indicated with a target mark. You will have greater precision when firing at these enemies. Yes, we have Aegis's firearms at our disposal, so let's just get in close to this guy and take a quick shot at him.
Alright, we have the advantage!
Weapons at the ready.
Sorry, just wanted to let you get in a little of the battle theme here. I really like the new battle theme for episode Aegis. Anyways, here we have Insidious Mayas. Nothing too special about these guys here. They are vulnerable to Agi perfectly fine, and when I say vulnerable, I mean they are outright weak to it. As is always the case in random battles, you want to focus on just striking every single weakness as quickly as possible, set them up for all-out attacks, and then close out the battle that way. Note that one of the things that we've actually retained in the transition to episode Aegis is our theurgies. Everybody has their default theurgy, though unfortunately their upgraded or second theurgies have been lost in the transition. We've also lost access to our characteristics, so another unfortunate thing dropped from the skill list there. Anyways, these guys are resistant to light, but this is where having a new option like Arrow Rain is much appreciated for Ken, as this will allow him to clean up both of these guys right here. Well, theoretically, he'd be able to clean up both of them if he was able to hit. We're just going to have Yukari go for a shot there, and there we go. No chance time, because we weren't able to finish it off without it. Did I say chance time? No shuffle time. We got a Mario Party on the brain, apparently. But no shuffle time, because we weren't able to finish with the all-out attack. Note that enemies in episode Aegis, and especially the Answer in FES, give out much higher experience payouts compared to what you'd expect from similar foes in the Journey. This is a much shorter storyline, so the EXP curve has been adjusted to make sure you get to the higher levels much faster. And I'm kind of shocked that there was not another message there. I was just waiting for something that wasn't coming. And we've got all the standard features that we expect from Tartarus, such as blue pedestals with Twilight Fragments. Twilight Fragments can be used for goodies later on down the line. And over here, we've got another shadow. Let's see if we've got new foes here. As is standard for me, I'll look for new encounters, show off one just to show off how you want to defeat these enemies, and then we can continue on by just editing out any repeat encounter. These guys right here, these spurious books, are vulnerable to elect skills. And again, when I say vulnerable, I mean outright weak to them. I gotta get my terminology cleaned up. You can tell it's been a little while since I've played the game. A minute, in fact. Nice thing about Ken starting with some tier 2 spells is that he actually has pretty good punching power compared to everyone else, even if he doesn't have the highest magic stat possible, so very good to bring him along here. It's just like every single iteration of Persona 3, they just decide to buff Ken further and further. He's so good now. Ooh, we definitely want to get our Persona stock built up, so we are going to take Principality here. As you can see, another function that is available to us right away is Major Arcanas, so we'll definitely want to keep an eye out for something like the Fool, so we can get more EXP. We would do well to explore floors thoroughly, because, again, we have no resources to work with going into episode Aegis. We want to just build up as much as possible, and hopefully go into battles, tough battles, with all the advantages we possibly can manage. While we're working our way along, may as well get in some Persona 3 FES gameplay while we're at it. We will eventually be focusing, or rather in the next video, we'll be focusing more on FES as the main point of focus for the gameplay, but there are still some things that I think are worth commenting on at this point. First off, the layout of this area is much less like a manor and more overtly resembles the style of the dorm, which kind of gives it like a cool, creepy aesthetic, honestly.
I must explain my Orgia mode to you. Just like you, sister, I am able to go into Orgia mode. My limiter will be temporarily disabled. As a result, my offensive capabilities will increase dramatically. However, I won't be able to listen to your orders. Also, Orgia mode only lasts for a short time. I'll eventually overheat and become immobile. It takes time for my systems to cool down again. So it's important to use it only at the right moment. That's all. Do you want me to explain it again?
Not at all, Metis. That's fine. That's fine.
The command to activate Orgia mode can be accessed via tactics. Let me know when you want to use it.
Neo Orgia mode for Metis. Now, I already explained this in the last video, but now we get a chance to see it in action. Metis' Orgia mode is different than Aegis' Orgia mode. Metis' mode lasts longer, and for the duration, there is no SP or HP cost to use the skills. However, once Orgia mode ends, she will overheat and become immobile for several turns. I believe the cooldown for this is still the same 3-turn cooldown that Aegis suffers. Use it at the right moments for maximum effectiveness. Neo Orgia mode is actually very, very useful and makes Metis quite handy in combat. Also, we do have a slight remix of Mass Destruction for the storyline. Not the most interesting variation on the song, but hey, it is there. But yeah, Neo Orgia mode, you may as well just throw Metis into it anytime you get into a battle you're not sure you can win before the enemy gets to act, because it just makes her way stronger. She can use her skills for free, which is actually huge, because SP management is a bit more of a big deal in the Answer, so definitely just throw her into it every time you get into a fight, if you don't think Aegis can take it on herself. This guy right here, the Corrupt Tower, I am actually going to scan him just so my allies know, but this guy is resistant to Slash, Pierce, and Elect skills, absorbs Wind skills, and is only weak to Light, so our only real option for taking him out in a single action is if Ken manages to land a Hama on him, which, not super reliable. He has no Light boost, nor does he have access to the Tier 2 Hamon, so we would rather just beat this guy down with raw force. As far as tactics go, we have access to the full spread of tactics in this game. You do not need to complete any boss challenges in order to unlock more options for your allies, so also we should just have everybody go balls to the walls and go for as much damage as possible. We don't have as strong an Orpheus in this game, but he is still strong enough, so I will now just get to work on taking out this Corrupt Tower here. Salt Dive, more than sufficient for damage. Orgia mode coming out. And Garula from Metis, which this guy absorbs Wind, so that's actually just going to be eaten up. Yes, yes, indeed. But remember that Neo Orgia mode is a flat double to all of Metis' damage, so even though her magic is quite low, Neo Orgia mode can make her magic skills pretty strong, so definitely keep that in mind. Ken's gonna wing the Hama here and see if he can hit it. Nah, did not expect that to go through, so we're mostly just going to have to focus on taking this guy out with our physical skills. Let me see here. I'm gonna make sure my HP is not in super dire straits. Hey, summoning in another enemy. Spurious Books over there. These guys absorb fire, are weak to Elect, and nullify Wind. Nice, that works out pretty wonderfully, actually. Ken can get the Hama to connect here. We can finish this off with an all-out attack. Alrighty, take this Spurious Book out here. I'll definitely want to scan it later so we can field more all-out attacks in the future. Get rid of that guy. All-out attacks are still absolutely cracked in the Answer, and there we go. That's something that I wanted to show off. Every party member that wasn't, I'm talking about Metis here, but every party member except for Metis, because she wasn't in the original storyline, has a new victory animation. So I'll try to cycle through that and show off everyone's animation when we have a chance.
There are 3 of them. Strike first.
Another new enemy here in Insidious Mayas. These guys repel fire and are weak to ice. There's a lot of things that you're going to be running into at the start here that actually just kind of completely wall out Orpheus, so it's kind of funny compared to Reload, where they're all too willing to just give you these strong attack options here. Anyways, ooh, I don't have tactics memory on. I'm going to have to remember to get that set in between battles. I don't really feel like it's super necessary for me to show this off, but what the heck, we will just go through the battle. I'm just going to have Aegis stick to doing physical attacks. If she can get crits, that would be nice. Like I said, no reason not to have Metis go for Neo Orgia mode here, allowing her to use her skills for free for double damage. Wonderfully useful here, as you can see. Ken's still got Cruel Attack at his disposal. Not quite as useful as Arrow Rain, but it still exists as an option. That is a pretty good thing for Akihiko to do there with the Mazio. Not exactly great that we weren't able to finish that guy off. I actually am going to go for the Assault Dive here to make sure this thing dies and Metis doesn't scoop up the kill, which I failed at, so... Oh, never mind, right. Only the first turn does the order go in the way that you have your party arranged. There is Metis' victory animation. Not super inspired, I gotta say.
There are 2 strong enemies. Attack!
Another new enemy over here, Wild Beasts. These guys are resistant to Strike and Pierce, nullify wind skills, and are actually pretty flush with weaknesses, being weak to Light, Dark, and most importantly, Fire. So hey, Orpheus can come in clutch here. Would be nice to get a victory for Akihiko, but we might have to wait a little bit for that until we can actually find something that he can take advantage of an elemental weakness of. I would probably need to deliberately have Ken sandbag so that Akihiko can get the glory. Oh, there is a chance for him here. I didn't put Metis into Neo Orgia mode, so...
One enemy to go!
That's the last one.
No scan coming through. Ken going for the Zionga for the kill. Okay, nice. Here we go.
It has multiple weaknesses.
Indeed. And this is exactly what I wanted, actually. Akihiko's getting the kill.
Did you see that, Shinji?
Not too different from his default animation, but still. And he's still begging Shinji to just watch everything he does. Come on, let the man rest in peace. Another new enemy over here. We've got, let's see, Justice Swords here. They nullify Slash, resist Fire and Elect, and are weak to wind skills. So they're basically a layup for Metis, but of course she actually needs to know what they're weak to in order for us to actually get her to knock them out. Or we could just make use of some new personae that we have gotten. In this case, Narcissus comes in with Magaru, so he's pretty good for dealing with these guys right away.
Here's our chance.
One other thing to note about Neo Orgia mode is that setting Metis into it will do a good job upping your all-out attack damage even further, since unlike Reload, this does consider your entire party's offensive power when determining the strength of an all-out attack.
I must protect my sister.
Hey, my persona has a new ability. I can tell you if the enemy's performance has been altered. This will help you when you're in battle.
And yes, Fuka has unforgotten how to do support scan in this version of the game, but hey, now we can tell if the enemy has been buffed or not. It's as I feared. This place is just like Tartarus. And that thing we saw earlier, I have a bad feeling about this. Please proceed with caution. There are a couple of differences between Tartarus, of course. First, this looks like we're just in winding manor hallways, and also we are actually heading downward rather than ascending, going further into the depths of hell? Something like that, I guess. Another new enemy we've got over here. This is, what do we got here? This is a Justice Sword. This guy is weak to wind and resists slash attacks. I got 238 HP, so not too much to have to chew through. I did actually, this time, get a better compendium ready and just went to the Persona 3 GitHub to get all of the enemy resistances, so I'll be building up a more reliable compendium for enemies, or bestiarity, as we go through the game. Hit this guy with the wind spell, and yeah, as you can see, Ken having those tier 2 spells really does allow him to outpunch a theoretically better caster like Yukari. Nice, we've got him taken down there. We'll just have Metis go for the finish. No shuffle time, unfortunately. Not much experience from that guy either. Not super worth our time to take him down. Over here, we've got another ore-type item. I almost feel like that's kind of an interface spoiler there, but hey, maybe we could come up with something unique to do with that. Can't exactly go to the antique shop right now in our current situation, though. Already feeling, absence is making the heart, what is the expression I'm looking for? Absence, I want to say the absence makes the heart go yonder, but no, that's the King's Quest pun. So that's definitely not what I'm looking for. Anyways, just these guys again. I was mid-thought there, so we will just get our... Oh no! Ah! I have to adjust to this controller. I'm not used to using this. I was trying to change targets by pressing the analog stick, and that was not working. Okay. It's always rough switching to different controllers, especially when you've been playing a game on just a specific one for so long. Luckily, these guys are not super threatening, so I am not overly concerned about them. We'll just go for some normal attacks there. What do we have here? No multi-targeting options at Metis' disposal, so we'll just go for the strongest option in Assault Dive. If we're lucky, we'll get a crit. If we're unlucky, we won't get a crit. I know, riveting commentary right there. You know, I could also just use the smart or the assist there to get my target lined up right away. Always gotta remember that. Again, been a couple months since I played this version of the game, so gotta remember some things. You never forget. Once you've learned to ride a bike, you never forget it, but there is definitely a level of rust that can be introduced. Ooh, get our Major Arcana card. This mechanic is pretty much unchanged, but there is one thing to note about how this mechanic is reset. Whenever you left Tartarus, obviously any Major Arcana cards you got were voided, and you'd be able to recollect them the next night you went in. In episode Aegis, on the other hand, your Major Arcana cards are voided once you just leave the Desert of Doors. So I could take this Fool card, choose to leave the Desert of Doors, and just get rid of my Major Arcanas. And this essentially puts no limit on the amount of times you can farm specific Major Arcana cards. Particularly handy to note for stuff like the stat-boosting Arcana cards, especially the HP and SP boosting ones. So we will not really worry too much about that. I'm not going to exploit that throughout the main LP. We are just going to grab this Fool card here and get our extra experience, as well as enjoying an Arcana burst here. And yeah, this is exactly the same as before, so let's get some experience. I don't think money is going to be too helpful to us in this current situation. We do get to enjoy Aegis' new splash screen for winning with an all-out attack, though, so that's nice.
This floor has been fully explored now.
Alright, now back to exploring.
Indeed, Ken, indeed. You probably noticed in the last encounter, because that was also a neutral encounter, but we do have a remix of mass destruction in this version of the game, much like we just have that always in the Answer. I do appreciate they added a new battle theme for this storyline in Reload as well. Oh, Aegis, I want to mention something, but I'm sure you know this, but please keep an eye on everyone's health, and if their health gets low, make sure they recover. As long as we work together, I know we'll be fine. I'm counting on you, leader. Funny that she mentioned that right after I used the smart healing option with Yukari on the field there. Let's open up this chest right here, get a Baisudi gem. We could definitely use some ailment cures here. Never know what we're going to run up against, and we're back to the point where we really do have to be considerate of what ailments we could possibly have thrown our way. Oh hey, got another new enemy here. Let's see, we've got the Corrupt Tower. This guy resists Pierce and is weak to ice, so we will just hit him with our standard attacking options here. And get around to Metis' turn so that she can hit it with Bufala. It is very nice to have that extra bit of coverage with Metis in this version of the game. You have to grind up a little bit if you want her to double cover elements in Persona 3 FES. There we go. Easy peasy on that one. Let us go in for the attack. You know, I didn't look too closely at Principality to see what he was capable of, so I should probably check that once I get a chance. Nice, we're also going to get Metis' splash screen here. Very much appreciate to see that. Ooh, could get Vacuum Slash for free. You know what? I'm going to take that. That is pretty valuable. That is a good skill to have. And there we go. Mass Destruction. Like Metis' splash screen for this game. Alright. That kind of makes up for not having unique victory animations for everybody, which not completely, because there's only 2 new splash screens compared to, what, the 8 party members we have, so... let me see, I was going to look at Principality here. Let's see, Hama, Koha, Holy Arrow, picks up her Karm, which might be helpful. We'll have to just keep an eye on that guy and see what he can do for us in the future. Of course, it's going to be a little bit tougher to actually raise up any Personae in this version of the game. We don't have any growth skills at our disposal. Hey, we got an Ailment Shadow here.
That went well.
Nothing too fancy about that encounter. One enemy was just panic. Let's definitely auto-recover here. I did get a new persona in that battle. We got Oberon. New, quote-unquote. Hey, I was just talking about growth skills. Looks like we have that at our disposal here now, so might be worth it to keep this guy in mind. It would definitely be handy to fuse that around onto new team options. Let's get over here and take this guy out. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, no! Well, here comes a disadvantageous encounter, so let's see what happens here. Poisma is a little worrying. Yeah, that did get through. So we're definitely going to want to pass battle, or pass the turnaround to get that purged. Let's see here. Need to remember what these guys are weak to. Yeah, that's Zio. It might honestly just be in my best interest to cure this ailment right away. Do we have a way to get rid of it? Yes. The Baisudi-chem coming in clutch. Do not want to get caught unaware by these guys. Let's have Ken get to work on taking some of these guys down. Use Zionga here. This means that these guys will get... Oh no! That's disastrous! Uh-oh. Okay, that's not the end of the world, though. We should be able to hit the guy in the back with the Bufala, and then pass it back on to Ken. There we go, there we go. I was like, knock on wood, Metis might miss there. I do also have Oberon as an option, but he's definitely weaker than Ken, so we're going to have Ken take his opportunity to run it back. There we go. We do need to be very, very careful about the battles we get into here and take them as seriously as possible. We are not the powerhouses that we were before, and things can go bad in a hurry. I've already had a couple close calls with Aegis where she got into a kill threshold. One hit would take her out. Honestly, Dia is perfectly fine with me, and that just burns his turn for me. Right. Now we can make use of Oberon here to pass the turn around. And get this over to Metis real quick. There we go. And throw out a Bufala here. So yeah, it is honestly kind of nice to have this reset here, where I'm actually having to put thought into how I engage counters, and take it seriously if things go wrong. I can't just slap on something with Unshaken Will and Enduring Soul anymore. We actually have to, you know, play the game and engage with its mechanics, and be careful above all else. Metis is very protective of Aegis.
That went well.
No level ups for us yet. Hopefully we'll gain some power in due time.
Oh, there's a treasure chest.
Hey, we got a bunch of level ups in that battle. Anybody gaining a skill here? Well, Oberon is, but that's largely due to the fact that I got a card for him. Yeah, nothing too exciting there. Let's get Orpheus equipped. Oh, never mind, he's already equipped. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm actually going to instantly card Vacuum Slash on him, just for that coverage there. Give us a stronger multi-targeting option. We don't have Junpei to spam that anymore, so we need to make the best use of it.
Hey, I know we're not exactly best friends, but do you really have to glare? Like it or not, we gotta work together to get out of this. You, me, Aegis, everyone.
I'm not glaring.
What?
You're right. I was glaring.
Okay. Thanks for being honest, I guess.
That was a nice little conversation there. Metis will eventually find her role within the team, I'm sure.
That went well.
I'll take your word for it, Yukari. As you can see, trying to hit enemies with Aegis's firearms can be a little janky in this game. God, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. If you're wondering why I'm having such confusion, even though the button prompts are Xbox 360 button prompts, I'm actually playing with an 8-bit-do SNES controller, and obviously those buttons on an SNES controller are oriented in the opposite way that they are on a 360 controller, so it is a recipe for confusion there. But this is the only fully functioning controller I have, so that's just what I gotta deal with. And if you're wondering why I'm sticking with 360 prompts, well, other prompts or other button configurations work kind of strangely with various games, so I'm just kind of sticking to one that I know works. Anyway, let's hit this guy up over here.
Okay, let's be on our way.
You probably noticed in an earlier encounter, Aegis does have an alternate firing type when she comes out of a dash. That isn't super relevant right now, but it will be important later on, so keep that in mind that it is an option. Wait, this reading, you're getting closer to a strong presence. Please be careful. Oh, we got an afraid enemy over here. And this guy, bit easier to hit with ranged options at our disposal, and conveniently, it is another new enemy here. Let's see. We've got wild beasts, and these guys are weak to light and dark. As you can see, one downside of Ken having tier 2 spells is that his SP is in somewhat of a tight supply right now, so we do want to be mindful of that and try to minimize the amount of actions that he's taken. Now, fortunately, we do still have access to the Oracle at this stage, so we can use that as a means to restore our SP, though it is a somewhat unreliable one. So again, that is also something that's worth keeping in mind. This guy is afraid, so we can try to wing for the crit here. Alright, we will go for the Fatal End, and that will get us the crit. And that guy should stay downed off of the all-out attack, I think. Or dazed, I should say. Gotta get my ailment name straight. But, yeah, ailments. I was thinking, wait, am I messing up elements? It's very easy to get those two twisted. Let's go for just another pierce attack there. Looks like he's recovered, but I'm not too concerned about him at this point. As long as this is not a crit, it is not, okay? Knock on wood, knock on wood. I'll always be mindful of that. Just now noticing that Yukari actually doesn't have access to single target healing. Not that there would really be much need for it at this point. It is a bit unfortunate that at this current moment, Ken is actually lacking in potent single target or multi-target healing. Kind of a pretty big distinction from how he came in the Answer and Persona 3 Portable. Over this way, let us pop this sucker open and get an antibiotic gel. Very nice. I was just talking about the lack of good single target healing, so much appreciated in that regard. Yeah, it looks like we just got a bunch of ailment enemies this floor.
Nice! That went well!
The panicked enemies actually very graciously threw away a copper coin for me to take, so that'll be, well, something if we ever get a chance to sell things. Suppose money doesn't really matter too much in our current situation. We got an enraged enemy here, so we will just let him rage his way on forward. Oh god! Okay. Like I said, trying to deal with verticality, these things can be a little janky. Okay, they didn't go to double tap Aegis though, so we're fine there. Eerie sound is pretty annoying, actually. Oof, that's bad. Let's see, it is probably a good idea to pop Oracle here, and hopefully Fuka will do something beneficial for us. Good idea to just play it better safe than sorry. Let's see, we got some HP back, so that's at least one problem taken care of. What we're gonna do here is Koga these guys. Alright. Yeah, I can't pass in this situation either. You know what? It is probably in my best interest to bust out a Theurgy here. Oh, damn it, you can't use those when you're panicked. I also forgot that. Got a bunch of unique problems coming up here. I'm going to, let me see here. Let's go for something a bit unusual. Let's go for Mahama and see if it can hit these guys better when they're downed. No, that did not go the way I was hoping. Let's do something else here. Let's Patra off Aegis, because that'll allow me to do all-out attacks. Also, Aegis cannot be crit in that situation. Let's see here. I will also Patra Gem Metis. Ken is unfortunately in a bit of a bad situation here. He can't actually do too much. Let's switch to Oberon, and let's do Mazio to spread damage around, while also getting a knockdown. There we go. Gotta keep your options clear there. Hopefully we can get a daze on one of these guys. Not quite, not quite. We couldn't get a pick-off either. Yeah, that's Ken dead there. Okay, nice, that's lucky, that's lucky. Okay, they're ignoring Ken, that's good. Unfortunately, Ken does not actually have much he can do here. But he is capable of using his Theurgy now. I'm not gonna go for it, though. Let's just use up his last Zionga here, then pass it over to Aegis and do some Kohas to get these guys taken down. And that should allow us to get through this. Bit of a scary encounter, and Ken is completely dry on SP, so we're probably just going to rush to the next floor of significance and make our way to a checkpoint, which this area does have for us, thankfully. We don't need to just force our way through it. Well, actually, I could just take a one-way teleporter, but where's the fun in that? I have to remember that this is not FES. I always meter my expectations for travel like I'm playing FES. Also, I picked up Neko Shogun in a previous encounter, getting a double card here, so let's see what he gets off of this. I also got Lane and Sid in another encounter, so we're getting a good number of things here. Ooh, nice. I'll pick up Swift Strike soon. Let's definitely do an auto recover there. There we go. Ken has nothing to complain about. So we are now just going to rush our way to the next checkpoint. Fortunately, we find a way down here.
Okay, time to move on.
Indeed, indeed. Oof. We're having a bit of a rough go of it. It's almost like we're starting out completely fresh here.
Shorter in stature compared to the others.
Well, that's just because they're older than me. I'm not short for my age.
Your age. I comprehend.
I don't think she fully comprehends, but you know what? If it makes her feel better, or if she feels like she gets it, you know what? Who am I to rain on her parade? You've got it, Metis. You've got it. We want to avoid that, Ken. Ooh, nice. We got a pretty sizable floor here, or a pretty sizable center room, so probably some treasure for us. If we can grab the treasure, we can tactically despawn some of these enemies. There we go. Get some money there, which I'm sure we'll find at some point to be valuable. Tactically despawn this guy by getting this medical powder there. More supplies. Always good, always good. And we should just be able to get right past this guy. Oop, almost got hung up on the door there. Let me see. This guy over here probably would be in my best interest to just wait for him to turn and then take him out. Hey, another set of level ups there. Will we get another new skill for one of our characters? Yes, Magaru for Yukari. Would have been nice to have that sooner. And hey, I was complaining about a lack of good single target healing earlier. We're getting that soon.
Worried. Amada-kun's stamina is really low.
Sorry, I'm actually kind of tired.
You'll be fine, kid. You'll be fine. Another nice thing about Ken having Arrow Rain now is that it gives him something perfectly valuable to do when he's out of SP. Alright, heading up to floor 7 over here. Let's just get all of these pedestals broken down and continue on downward.
I wonder what it was. It seems to have gone down to a lower floor.
Well, returning to the furthest explored floor, one-way teleporters are found throughout the Abyss of Time and can be used to instantly return to the Desert of Doors. Even after returning to the Desert of Doors, you can speak to Fuka by the entrance to return you to your furthest explored floor. Heading back could be a good idea if you find yourself stuck. We're not really stuck, but we are a little tapped out, so it would probably be in our best interest to regroup real quick. So back to the Desert of Doors we go.
Huh? I sense something unusual run by just up ahead. I wonder what it was. It seems to have gone down to a lower floor.
Before we finish off the video, it's probably a good idea to comment on the floor prior to the boss floor in Persona 3 The Answer, because while there is a sort of checkpoint here, there is a save point located prior to the boss. The teleporter out of here is one way. You do not get a free teleport back to base in order to heal yourself in The Answer. You must defeat the boss before you get an actual checkpoint for your progress in this dungeon. So, if you leave here, you will have to trek all the way back through 6 floors in order to reach this area, and then save your progress again and take a shot at the boss. I think I should be able to win, even with my team dinged up a little bit. One thing I did not get to comment on is that enemies in The Answer can drop healing items for you, so that gives us a little bit more to keep our team topped off, and I should be able to handle the upcoming battle, no problem, but that will be for next time. Let's get back to reload and finish up the video. Unfortunately, we do not get full healing, but that kind of belies a certain thing you can do. You see, you can just leave the Desert of Doors, You can use the stairs in the Desert of Doors to return to the dorm. Doing so will fully restore your HP and SP. The layout of the Abyss of Time will change each time you enter it. Treasure chests you have already found can be rediscovered as well, so returning could be a good idea if you find yourself stuck.
Oh, hello.
So yes, we can just return to the dorm and basically have the return to on-demand full healing like we had in Persona 3 Vanilla and FES. Not something you want to make use of all the time, though, because that does wipe out our Arcana bonuses, or our Major Arcana pickups, as well as Arcana Burst, so we have to recollect the Fool card if we want to have Arcana Burst once again. But that's honestly, at this point in the game, more of a benefit than a bane, so not really that big a deal. As you can probably expect, because we hit a checkpoint floor, we've got a boss fight coming up. But I think we've had enough for this video. I'm gonna go for slightly shorter videos with the answer because it's, well, a shorter campaign, so no need to pack too much into a single video, I feel. That's all for this video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and when we come back, we've got a tough battle ahead of us, so be prepared for that. See ya.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined, but it's my right to waste your time.